Om Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadipyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vanshirishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitāh Prajnanaghanah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamsmi Brahmaivahamsmi. Vedantartha-vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sangapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohatvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om. When Bhagavan Shri Krishna says Atma is Nityam, that means the self that I am, in reality, the true meaning of the word I is that which is uncorrupted, untouched, not conditioned by time. So, Atma is Nityam. Now, when a teacher makes a statement, or when the Upanishads say something about Atma, it is not meant so that the listener can just swallow it down, okay, with your hands folded, since Krishna Bhagavan has said, or since the Upanishad says, let me just swallow it down. It is not meant for that. What follows is, after a statement is made, it immediately is transferred to our faculty to analyze. The statement is Atma is Brahman, against which we find another statement immediately from the listener, which comes as a response. And that is, but Atma, that I am a Jiva. Jiva in the sense, the small little entity restrained by time, space, objects, attributes, etc. Limited by all this, conditioned by these are the various conditions that are going to limit, and therefore conditioned by time, space. Conditioned by time, the person finds I am born and I am going to die. So the person naturally he has a reason. Why should I not become sad that I am going to die one day? And that death means that I will be parted from the people that I love, the things that I have collected, all my possessions, everything on which I can claim my ownership will suddenly become something that I cannot own. The people whom I love will not be available to me, or even if someone whom I love, the impending what do they call death of some person now means that it already is causing me anxiety. That means it is already causing me some sort of dukkham, anxiety, etc. These are all various words for the same thing. Dukkha means something that is not wanted, something that one wants to get rid of, all that one wants to get rid of. Hmm. Something whose nivritti is desired. Hmm. Dukkha is something about which one wants to get rid of it. So now, will anybody want to keep anxiety, insecurity, sense of loneliness, sense of helplessness? Does anybody want it? So it is not wanted. And therefore, all these things, anger, etc., all these things are what? They are in the category, they are in general, we will call them as dukkham. Right? So now, conditioned by time, I find that I have a reason for dukkham. That if I die, which means I will be parted from the people whom I love, or the things that I love. And the death of something else or destruction of things means that they will be parted from me. They will leave me and go. So, in both the cases, I have a reason for dukkham, conditioned by time, then conditioned by space. Conditioned by space means that a person finds he is limited in space, limited by attributes. Okay, so this is how the the sense of limitation itself is generating dukkham. And what is the solution to it then? The solution is in knowing, pay attention to the word, in knowing Atma, that means the self is not conditioned by time, space, objects, or attributes. None of these conditions are ever able to limit the self, bound it. And so, therefore, in saying so, the implication is Atma is Nitya. And also when he says Atma is Param, which means is pervasive, also it goes that Atma is one. Okay. So in different bodies, the expressions may be different, but the self that I am, this is what is the true meaning of I, is one in all the bodies, whether these are the bodies of human beings, insects, animals, birds, some celestial beings, or even whatever, you know, no matter how holy or how profane, everywhere in all the bodies, that one who resides is one. And that is what is the meaning of I. Hey, do I have to become one or am I already one? So when we say that in knowing Atma is Nitya, Vibhu, and Eka means one, Uno, one. You can know something only if it is there. You cannot know something if it is not there. If the claim is that I can know something which is absent, then that knowing is not knowledge. It is an error. Like what? Like the snake on the rope. The snake isn't there, but you happen to know this is a snake. That knowledge is taking place. So therefore, we are not saying your experience that this is a snake, in the case of snake and rope, Rachu Sarpa, that this is not knowledge. But what is it? It is erroneous knowledge. And again, I must tell you, erroneous knowledge is not knowledge. Erroneous knowledge is just an error. Then, sir, why did you use the word knowledge with that error? We are saying it because we, in our transactions of explanation and understanding, you also use the word knowledge for cognition. Okay, for cognition. So what is it? An erroneous cognition. So therefore it is an erroneous knowledge. Brahmajnanam. So Brahmajnanam is not jnanam. And what are we saying? Knowing Atma. One has to simply know this is the nature of the self. But there is an objection. No, sir, Atma is not Brahman. Then how is this Atma? Atma is Jiva, etc. We can say all other things about Atma, which will mean that Atma is not Brahman. Okay? Even all those people who have to say Atma comes and Atma goes from one body, it jumps into another body. This is not what is meant by Shri Krishna. We will see that. And therefore, the one who goes from one body into another body is Jiva. Okay? Is Jiva. And if you are a Jiva who goes from one body into another body, according to Arjuna, in knowing that I am a Jiva, how does that solve the problem of dukkham? Because Arjuna's dukkha is Arjuna's sorrow is that if these people, Bhishma, Drona, the people whom I love, if they are going to die, which means that they will be parted from me forever. I will never be able to see them. And therefore, that is my dukkham. So even if you were to say that Atma is somebody who jumps from one body, travels from one body into another body, so on and so forth, this is what is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. How does that really give a solution to Arjuna's problem? It just endorses what Arjuna is saying. Arjuna is saying that I'm sorrowful because I am able to see that Bhishma, Drona, or the people whom I love will have to go away from me. And the reason is that going away from me for other reasons like going into exile. But Arjuna says, I knew that coming back from exile, I still would be able to meet my people. So the possibility of meeting them is dense. The possibility of meeting those people again is still there. And therefore, I may have to come for other reasons, that my kingdom has been snatched away wrongly, or I will have to face the hardships of living in the forest. My brothers, my mother, my wife, they will all have to face the hardships of living in the forest. which is not wanted. And so that dukkham may be that there the reason for dukkham is different. Here the reason for dukkham, he says, is that I will have to be separated. I will never ever see Bhishma, Drona ever again, the people whom I love. So also is the case with us. Now and so by telling that yes, you are a jiva and you are the atma who stays in the body, goes from here to another body in order to enjoy the karma phalas, how does that really solve the problem? How does that really solve the problem? At the most, it may give you an impetus to live a dharmic life. At the most, what will it do? It will give you an impetus to live dharmic life. Which means what? Which means that since my existence continues in the time, uninterrupted by time, I may get another body to live and experience my karma phalas. And since I am the one who is going to experience the karma phalas, the results of my action, might as well let me be very precautious and do the right actions. So wherever I am, in whichever body I am, my experiences will be what? Pleasurable, of happiness, of joy, and not of grief and dukkham. So the person will live a dharmic life. But living a dharmic life is okay. It gives you an inspiration and a way to continue living in a righteous way. But how does that solve the problem? And therefore, if those who have to conclude that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is talking about Atma goes from one body into another body, and this is what is the nature of the Atma, they have really not understood Arjuna's problem. Then Arjuna is justified in saying that, sir, this is not my problem. You're giving me a solution. Whatever you are giving me is a solution, not to a problem that I have. My problem is that of sorrow, and that sorrow means that, well, I am limited in time, and therefore I will have to face the dukkham of parting from the people whom I love. Either I will have to part or they will have to part. But the net result is that we will have to go separate ways. And this is the dukkham. This is the dukkham. Therefore, Shri Krishna, if you are going to tell me that Atma goes from one body to another body, this is not a solution. Then, the solution that Shri Krishna Bhagavan is saying, in knowing that Atma is Brahman, therefore Atma is one. And because this Atma is one, in all the bodies, whether these are the bodies of Bhishma, Drona, or other people, cousins and things like that, or these are the bodies of birds, animals, insects, celestial beings, no matter what, wherever there is this cognition, ahamasmi, I am, that Atma is the same one. So one thing is that Atma is Nitya, Atma is Vibhu, and Atma is one, Eka. When this was implied by Shri Krishna, immediately there is an objection. And now this objection is not from in Arjuna's words, but there is an objection. And the one who raises an objection over here, we are going to call him Purva Paksha. Purva Paksha, an opponent. Because it is an objection he is raising. But what is his objection? So now in various other schools of, these are the various schools of philosophy. And all of them have given their energy, time in contemplating on what is the nature of the self, what is the nature of this world. And so the Vaisheshikas, or even the Sankhyas, etc., they come forth. And what do they say? Even the Mimamsakas also have the same thing to say. They say, Nanu Atmanaha Nityatve Vibhutve cha na vivadamaha. We do not have a disagreement when you say that Atma is Nitya. Nitya means not conditioned by time. That's why Nitya. Then, or when you say Atma is not conditioned by space, Vibhu. But we have an objection when you say Atma is one. And sir, what is your problem in understanding Atma is one? Because he says, if Atma is one, how different people have different experiences of Sukha and Dukkha. The same object can generate Sukham for Mr. A. The same object can generate Dukkham for Mr. B. Okay. The same thing. There is one girl, Laila. Then Laila marries one Alif. So Alif is happy. And then who's the other one? The Majnu. Majnu is unhappy because now who has generated this happiness? And who? Laila is the object, because of whom Alif becomes happy, Majnu becomes sad. Correct? This is what it is. How do different people have different experiences? And when each one has got different experience of Sukha and Dukkha, that means everyone's claim is, I am Sukhi. But Mr. A says, I am Sukhi. Mr. B says, I am Dukhi. Mr. C has still another thing to say. Okay. So now, if Atma was not different, if Atma is one, then wherever Atma becomes Sukhi, everybody should become Sukhi. And if Atma becomes Dukhi, everybody should become Dukhi. So according to the Vaisheshikas, etc., what is their opinion? Therefore, Atma is Nitya and Vibhu, but Atma is not one. There is multiplicity of Atma. And therefore, according to them, the Sukha, Dukkha, etc., are the attributes of Atma. Are the attributes of Atma, and they make you understand, see that Atma is many, different in different bodies. All right. So this is what is his, what he has to say. Now, though this is the philosophical background, which means the Vaisheshikas, one school called as the Vaisheshikas, logicians, and Mimamsakas, they have to say like this. The same thing can be framed in a different way. The objection is framed in different way. How? He says, Yadyapi Atma Vinasha Nimitto Mohaha na Sambhavati. Now Arjuna is not going to be sad because that Atma is going to get destroyed. The Atma in Bhishma will be destroyed, or Atma in me will be destroyed, and therefore Arjuna. This is not Arjuna's Dukkham. Atma is Nitya. In Bhishma or in Arjuna, wherever that Atma is Nitya, is permanent. So Atma Vinasha Nimitto Mohaha na Sambhavati. Why? Nitya Atma iti vijanataha. Because Atma is Nityam is known. Tathapi what? Because of coming in contact with the world. Because of coming in contact with the world, what will happen? That naturally is going to generate the response of sukham or dukkham. Correct? Coming in contact with the world is definitely bound to generate some response of sukham and dukkham. So this nimitta mohaha laukikaha, this is due to the world. Laukikaha, loke bhaveti laukikaha. Sukha viyoga nimitta dukkha sanyoga nimittaha cha shokaha. And so there is going to be shoka also. Shoka means sorrow, misery. On account of what? Because for contact with the world is in two ways. Even going away from something that is conducive to you and coming in touch with something that is not conducive to you. Both these conditions will happen in the world when you are living in the world. And thus, Laukika, there is a reason for shoka. This is how a common person, you and me, we will say. But how will the Vaisheshikas say, or the Mimamsakas? They will say it a little differently, the same thing. Okay. So, Pratideham ekatvam na sahamahe iti Vaisheshikaha Mimamsakaha. Anyatha sukha dukkhadi sankara prasangat. Otherwise, how can you even explain different people having different sukha and dukkha? And if you still are not going to accept it, that Atma is multiple or many, then by one person becoming sukhi, the whole world should become sukhi. And by one person becoming dukhi, the entire world should drown in sorrow, become dukhi. Iti. Now, this claim, this is the position that needs to be clear. And this is an obstacle in understanding Atma is Brahman. Okay, what is this? This objection is not, oh, you're opposing Shri Krishna. Oh, there is nothing like opposing Shri Krishna. What is this then? This is this objection, this doubt is an obstacle in understanding Atma is Brahman. And all that we have to do throughout Bhagavad Gita, all that the teacher has done throughout Bhagavad Gita is to deal with these objections so that one is able to understand, no, Atma is Brahman. Okay, that is the thing. Because what is the basic problem? The basic problem is in finding that I am limited. The sense of limitation is the mother, okay, of all dukkha. In fact, dukkha is sense of limitation. How do you say that, Swamiji? Hey, now you see this inadequacy, incompleteness which is experienced by us. When people say that I am unhappy because of money, let us take this as a common example. It becomes applicable to all. People have anxiety because of money. Now, why is that causing? So I feel I don't have money. I don't have money means your bank balance is zero. No, Swamiji, not like that. Your wallet does not even have a single currency note in it. No, Swamiji, not like that. You know, I'm just well. What do you mean you don't have money? It means I do not have adequate. I do not have it adequately. I don't have adequate money. So the sense of limitation, sense of limitation is dukkham. Even when one says that I am dukkhi because I don't feel loved. Yeah, I don't feel loved means what? I don't feel loved sufficiently. Means whatever love that I am receiving is limited. So this sense of limitation, this sense of smallness is dukkham. And where is it coming from? It means it is coming from ignorance, not knowing that this Atma is complete. There is no incompleteness on account of any condition. No condition is ever able to make this Atma limited. And all the sense of limitation, this dukkham is centered on I. I am dukkhi, I am limited. That is where you find, huh? So none of, so in knowing that this Atma is Purnam, is complete, is therefore the solution. So dukkham is the sense of limitation, that incompleteness, apurnatvam, apurnatvam. Okay, this is dukkham. Then what is freedom from dukkham? Then freedom from dukkham naturally will mean freedom from this sense of limitation. How will this sense of limitation go away? By taking another limitation? No. Sense of limitation will go away only in wake of knowledge that I am Purnam, I am complete. And therefore, this is the solution. Knowing Atma is Brahman is the only solution to Dukkham. The rest of them are first aids. Okay. Rest of them are just temporary relief, a little respite. But total annihilation of dukkham is only in knowing Atma is Brahman. And therefore, when Arjuna has been able to spot his problem, that nothing, not the kingdom, not the wealth, not the relatives, not even going to the Swarga, not even going to the heaven, is going to solve my problem, Shri Krishna. This dukkham does not go away because of any of these reasons. Even if you are able to take me to heaven, and then, these people have got heaven means a lot of food, nice food, music, and some nymphs for you to entertain you. Right? Even if there are these nymphs, those, whatever, apsaras, the sense of limitation still will persist. How will it go away? Hmm? So it doesn't. And therefore, dukkham will continue. And so Arjuna has been perfect in analyzing his problem, that yes, even if I'm taken to heaven, or not only just taken or given a place in heaven, even if I'm given the position as the king of the heaven, not only of the heaven, but all the three worlds, yet, even if my power was to be supreme, unrivaled, yet it does not take away the dukkham. So, O Krishna Bhagavan, please enlighten me. And so Shri Krishna says, knowing this is what Atma is. When Shri Krishna has just said this, immediately the Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas have all popped up. And they have popped up in the sense that this will be our first objection. Well, sir, how can Atma be Brahman? At the most, Atma can be appreciated as a Jiva, going from one body to another body, be continuing. So is Nitya, is Vibhu, but is not Ekaha. Because the reason that they have said is there is Sukha Dukkha. There is Sukha Dukkha of every individual Atma. There are different Atmas and they are different because all of them have their own sets of Sukha and Dukkha. Correct? So where is the Sukha and Dukkha? In Atma. So now in the solution, what do we have to see is this Sukha and Dukkha which is claimed to be in the Atma, does it belong to Atma? Or is the location of this Sukha and Dukkha elsewhere? We have to see that. Okay. Tathacha mama nityatve vibhutve bhishmadi bhinnasya mama sukha dukkhadi yogitvat bhishmadi bandhu deha vichchede sukha viyogo dukkha sanyogascha syat iti shokamoho nanuchito iti arthan. The shoka and moha is therefore not misplaced. Na anuchitaha iti Arjuna abhiprayam ashankya. This is Arjuna's abhipraya. This is Arjuna's opinion. That Shri Krishna saying that Arjuna, the shoka and moha, the sorrow, grief, etc., is not justified. What was Shri Krishna said? What has Shri Krishna said? Now, therefore, what would Arjuna say? Arjuna, in the sense, the student would say, Sir, my sorrow, etc., is not unjustified. It is substantiated with a reason. Okay. So therefore, now iti ashankya. This could be this is the problem is understood by the teacher. What is understood? Because what is your problem? Why are you not able to understand? Atma is Brahman. Is now is understood. The teacher knows where the obstacle is, and that obstacle is that one does not have the discrimination between what is the subtle body and what is Atma. Linga deha, linga sharira vivekaya aha. Now this shloka has been given is so that one will be able to have the discrimination. Just as in the earlier case, we were shown the discrimination, the viveka between gross body and Atma. Now we have to see the discrimination between Linga Sharira, the subtle body, and Atma. Okay. So even the claim of the Vaisheshikas, Nayayikas that Atma has Sukha and Dukkham is because why is there that claim? Because the Viveka is missing. Which Viveka is missing? Linga Sharira Viveka is missing. That Viveka means discrimination, segregation, to see, to understand, and which means to understand something means when you say I understand the cup, that means the cup is not the table, the cup is not the what do they call, saucer, all other things, millions of things. And therefore, when you are able to distinguish it from everything, then now you can say I understand what is cup. Correct? So every understanding means that you have distinguished it. So also now over here, in order to understand what is the nature of Atma, we have to distinguish it from everything that is anatma. Okay. So linga sharira, subtle body, is, we have to understand that it's segregation from there. How does Krishna Bhagavan say that? Show that? Here we go into the 14th verse, which we had begun last time. Go ahead with it. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Agamapayino nityaha. Agamapayino nityaha. Tan stitikshasva bharata. Tan stitikshasva bharata. Okay. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. Hey, so now there are two epithets, Shri Krishna has two vocative sambodhanas are there for Arjuna. What? He Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. And another one is, O Bharata. Okay. Bharatakulotpannaha. Bharata also means the one who revels in knowledge. That is the name of this country, Bharat. The one who revels in knowledge, not the one who revels in sense objects or anything like that. One who revels in knowledge, the one for whom joy is a knowledge, revels Bharat. This was recognize the glory of that country also. How the people, this culture is Bharata, etc. Well, Matra Sparshast Kaunteya, He Kaunteya, son of Kunti. And Kunti is not some ordinary, person. She is a woman of great courage and great viveka. Okay? With fortitude. Her life, Arjuna's mother, her life is one life, what do they call? Calamities after calamities have collapsed on her. But she has stood like a boulder, like a mountain. All these cyclones, storms have come and passed, but she has stood over there like the mountain. So you have to see the greatness of these characters. They are not just, and this is the reason why even passage of time of thousands of years has not been able to erase their names from our memories. Kunti, Draupadi, all these women also. So who are you, Arjuna? Don't forget, you are son of Kunti. One after another calamities have come, and Kunti not only did not succumb, collapse, but stood still like a mountain. Okay? So, He Kaunteya, son of Kunti. Shri Krishna begins with that. He Kaunteya, the contact of the sense organs. Matra sparshaha. Sparsha means contact. And matra means the sense organs. So, the contact of the sense organs. What will the sense organs contact? What will your eyes contact? Obviously, colors and forms. What will your ears contact? Ears in the sense the Shravanendriya. What will it contact? The world of sounds. What will your Ghanendriya, the olfactory sense contact? Obviously, the smells. So this is what the world is. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. This is all the world is. And where permutations and combinations of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is what you say. Oh, well, this is what I like. This is not what I like. If whether you are pulled to object A or object B, you are still going into Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. What is the big deal? So contact of the sense organs means contact with the world. What will happen? So the contact of the sense organs with the sensory world, obviously the world is sensory, the sensory world, that gives rise to what? To your cognition of heat and cold, sukha and dukkha, so on and so forth. Okay? Which means You will recognize something as hot, something as cold, something as pleasing, something as unpleasant. I will continue. And if we are caught up only in this, I like and I don't like, knowingly or unknowingly, we are just lost in a in a maze what we have created. So therefore, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadaha, or there will be the polarities will be experienced. Something that you are going to say is hot now. In another condition, you will say it is not sufficiently hot. Something which you are going to say is cold now. In another condition, you will say it is not cold. See, isn't it? Something that you are going to say is pleasurable now. Under another circumstances, another frame of time, you will say is not pleasant. It is in fact unpleasant. That is how we keep on changing opinions about people, things, food. The same, there is this very famous, anecdote about this fellow, Akbar Birbal. You must have heard. So one day, this Akbar Badsha, this king emperor, is sitting for lunch, dinner, whatever, taking his meals, and they had cooked bangan, aubergine. We Indians call it English. In Indian English is what? Huh? Brinjal, eggfall, no, eggfall nahi kya? Eggplant, eggplant, aubergine, eggplant. Eggplant, I'll got another story. Anyway, so this eggplant is there. And he's eating, and he says, "This is so nice." So Birbal, his minister, is next to him. Yes, Maharaj, very nice. It is the best vegetable in the whole world. So it is best. That means it has to be cooked every day, morning, afternoon, evening. So all the nights Akbar is eating brinjal. Then in 2 days' time, this Akbar got fed up. And even if he heard B of brinjal, he would want to puke. Okay. So he says that this is the worst type of vegetable that I'm seeing in my whole life. So Birbal is next to him. He says, "Yes, Maharaj, correct, sir. This is the most horrible. Look at that. Look at its face only, now how it looks." So Akbar, Akbar is astonished. He looks at Birbal and says, "Just 2 days ago, this fellow said brinjal is the best vegetable, and that's why I should eat every day. I started eating. Now he says that this is the most horrible. It is like poison. Who wants to eat it?" And he says, "Hey, what is his name? Birbal, what are you saying? Why the other day you were praising him, praising that thing, kya hai uska naam, brinjal. Now you are, calling it names. It is not fair." So, so Birbal says, "Maharaj, sir, what to do? I'm your servant, not brinjal's servant." Hey, you don't even have to wait for 3 meals for 2 days. Just when you are just this full, one more morsel pushed in your mouth will make you feel pukey about that same thing which you were relishing a moment before, 15 minutes ago, which you were so eating, relishing, calling it delicious and all that. You will say, "I don't want it." So it keeps on, our opinions keep on changing. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, and this is what is true. And therefore, how are these all these things? Agama paino nityaha, the matra sparshaha. The contact with the world is how? It is agama pai. It comes and it goes. Anityaha. So not only that, the contact with the world is established or it is broken, but even those objects by itself will are anitya, impermanent, and therefore tan stitikshasva bharata. Therefore, just endure them when you are experiencing them. This is the apparent meaning. Okay, so they are not constant, and therefore endure them. Who? Because you are Bharata. Oh Bharata. Vocative case. Sambodhanam. What happened? You're playing. Sambodhan. He Bharata. So He Kaunteya, He Bharata. Now do not forget the reason for which Krishna Bhagavan has initiated this discussion. Why? Because Linga Deha Vivekaya. For what is the reason? In order to generate Viveka. Which Viveka? Linga Deha. The Viveka between what is the Linga Deha means the subtle body and Atma. Okay. Subtle body and Atma. That means now you are going to understand that even this subtle body, which otherwise was taken as Atma, is actually what? Anatma Vastu. Is Anatma. And therefore Atma is other than this. In understanding that, what is the leverage or what is your gain? The gain is now you do not have an objection in understanding Atma is Ekaha. Okay. Otherwise, there was no problem in him saying that Atma is Nitya, Atma is Vibhu. But where was their objection? In saying Atma is Ekaha. Now this shloka allows you this what do they call? Understanding the shloka allows you to see this fact, to have this benefit. That is Linga Deha Viveka. Okay. Now we will go into the shloka. What is matra? What is matra? What is this matra? Because there is a compound word, matra sparsha, plural. Matra sparsha. Matra and sparsha, there are two words, but when they are compounded together, it will become matra sparsha, like bus stop. There is a word in English, bus, and there is also word stop. Okay. Don't say, Swamiji, when are you going to stop? In another few minutes more. So there is a bus stop. But when you are going to use it as one word, it is a compound word, bus stop. Stops for bus. So Chaturthi, Chaturthi Tatpurush, Samas it will become. Those who have learned in school, they will understand. Then what happened? Like that, matra sparsha is one word. Sir, we have to understand what is matra, what is sparsha. Here we go. What is matra? The meaning of word matra is the indriyas. Okay. What is the meaning of word matra? Indriyas. Now you understand what is Indriyas, the organs of perception. Matra, organs of perception, 5. How? Miyante abhihi vishayaha iti matra. That by which through which the Vishayas, the objects, are known, measured, is known as Matra. Okay? That through which the Vishaya means the objects. Now, what objects? Don't tell me table and chair is called object. Over here, the object means Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. 5. The sounds, touch, colors and forms, Rupa, Rasa. Rasa means taste, gustatory input. And then finally, olfactory, smell. These are just these 5. What is a rose? Rose, therefore, then is what? A composite. It is a composite of a particular smell, touch, taste, etc. that you are going to call as rose. Then what is anything else? Then a particular composition of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is another object. Composition of another Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is and third object. So what is finally all these objects? Just this much. And finally, what is it? It is nothing more but just your rod cells and cone cells getting fired. What is then a sweet sound and a very a harsh sound is nothing but just you are activated. That's it. Shabda Sparsha. Therefore, miyante abhihi ha vishayaha, through which the Vishayas are known, is called as Matra. So where does that understanding take you of this word Matra? Indriyani, the Indriyas, the organs of perception. Tasam sparshaha, their contact. So the contact of these Indriyas, Vishayaihi sambandhaha, the contact with the objects is called as Matra sparshaha. Okay. Tattad vishayakaran takkarana parinamaha va. Otherwise, just understand that it is something that which is registered in your mind as receiving the stimuli. Yeah, this is better. Receiving the stimuli is Matra sparshaha. What is it about this Matra sparshaha? That this contact, the contact with the world, generates sukha dukkha, the polarities, and they are how agama payi, that this contact by itself, these contacts by itself is how they are subject to coming and going. Agama apaya will happen. Anityaha, so also they are impermanent. Tanstitik Shasva. Hey Bharata. From this shloka. From here, how are you able to show this Viveka? Which Viveka? Linga Deha Viveka. Which Viveka? Linga Deha Viveka. How are you able to see this? This is what is implied by Bhagavan Krishna. And by having this Linga Deha Viveka, what will happen? Now you will not have problem in knowing Atma is one. Okay? This is where we will, this is how our discussion will proceed. And let us see when we meet next. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyaptadehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om. Thank you all. Thank you very much.